Here's what metrics you need to track for your restaurant to have success in its digital marketing. So you spent money marketing your restaurant. Next, you actually want to track whether it's working or not. Most restaurant owners are constantly guessing. They don't know what's working and they see their business going up and down and they can't clearly attribute it to any specific thing. So sometimes they cut things that are working and raise things that are not. So we're done with the guessing. I'm going to tell you exactly what you should be tracking and how to track it. This is a step that most restaurant operators skip. That's why they have confusion or don't have clarity on whether their digital marketing efforts are making them money or putting a hole in their pocket. My name is Alex Quin. I'm a digital marketer with over 15 years of experience, and I've spent millions of dollars on platforms like Meta and Google pushing businesses like yours. I also manage a restaurant marketing portfolio that does multiple 8 figures a year. Everything from small concepts to medium and large size restaurants. Okay, so let's get started with tracking. One big thing we want to track is phone calls. Many restaurants get phone calls, but a lot of them don't pick up the phone as often as they should, and they're losing reservations right there. They're worrying about advertising or spending money in other places to bring in reservations, to bring in traffic, but they neglect the traffic that's already coming in, your phone calls. Some restaurants will tell you they don't have a dedicated person to pick up the phone. If they could afford it, they should. If they don't, there's softwares that you could use to be able to make it easier for when people call in to guide them to the right location. You also want to be able to track where your phone calls are coming from. Let me unpack that. Let's say you're a restaurant that advertises on Facebook, Google, Instagram, your website, Google My Business, TikTok, etc. You have the same number everywhere. You get a bunch of calls that come in, but you don't know what channel is bringing you the most phone calls. A software like CallRail will let you create multiple lines and forward those lines to a specific number. At the end of the month, you'll be able to look at a chart of where most of the calls are coming from based off the platform. TikTok will have one number, Instagram will have another number, Google Business will have another number that forwards to the main number. Now, at the end of the month or at the end of 60 days, once you've looked at enough data, you'll be able to see which platform is bringing in the most phone calls. Next, you're getting phone calls, but you're not picking all of them up. You also want to be able to track non-answered calls. You also want to be able to record the calls. These softwares allow you to do that. They'll also have a disclaimer at the beginning so you make sure that you're compliant and your customers know the call may be recorded. Why is this important? You could download these calls, run them by AI, and see what's actually happening. Maybe the person picking up the phone is rude, monotone, not welcoming, not picking up the phone at all, but you didn't even know. And here you are trying to spend a bunch of money, bringing in people from the top of the funnel, and when they get to the bottom of the funnel, which is potentially calling you, nobody's picking up. So please don't oversee this part. Don't overlook this part, my apologies. Next, if you're advertising on platforms like Meta or Google, you want to be able to track whether your advertising is working or not. Maybe even influencers who you give track links to. UTM parameter links are going to be very important when it comes to your pay-per-click advertising. They're going to go right into your software wherever you're booking reservations, and those UTM parameters will tell you exactly which reservation came from what campaign, and you'll be able to add up the revenue from that campaign and see if the campaign was successful or not. I'll give you a perfect example. Let's say you're strong on Instagram. You really want to know if your Instagram link in bio is bringing you the reservations you think it does. However, you send them to a main 7 rooms or open table page and you don't know really where they came from, or maybe you don't really trust the data that the platform is giving you. And another layer of security of tracking is to do a UTM parameter link on your Instagram bio. Now you know that anybody who hits that link actually booked from Instagram. Same for the Facebook bio, same for the TikTok bio, and so forth. If this seems like a lot of work, if this seems like something you haven't done before, well, maybe that's why you haven't been able to properly track why your campaigns are converting or not converting. Next, your email marketing. Let's say you're sending out email blasts. You could also put UTM links on your email blasts to see if your email marketing is actually driving in reservations. You want to be able to track absolutely everything. I know it might feel tedious, but that's why you need a dedicated digital marketer. I mentioned that in my first video about what it costs to run a medium to large size restaurant when it comes to marketing. You can check it out right here. Next, let's discuss the 7 core metrics you want to keep track of when digital marketing your restaurant. Number 1, average check size. You want to look at your revenue per cover, and you want to track this weekly. If check size drops while traffic stays the same, you have a menu or a service issue. If check size goes up while traffic stays the same, your upsells are working. Number 2, reservations. Track total reservations and where they're coming from. Are they a direct booking, open table, resi, 7 rooms, phone call, Instagram DM, Meta ads, Google ads? You get the idea. Number 3, cancellation rate. Anything above 10%, you have a serious problem. This is lost revenue that actually could be captured without having to acquire new customers. Track it weekly. If it spikes, investigate why. Next, we want to track no-show rate. This is in the same category as cancellation. Above 10% means you're losing one or more out of every 10 customers. One solution you could implement is asking for a credit card at the time of reservation, or you could have your staff call in. You could even go into retargeting ads to show ads to people who booked the reservation to make sure they show up after they've seen a ton of your videos. Next, let's talk about email open rate. Industry standard, it's about 15 to 20% for restaurants. Anything below 15%, your subject lines or the quality of your list needs work. You want to be able to test different subject lines and keep track of what actually works and what doesn't. Next, we look at email click-through rate. The industry standard is about 2 to 5%. If you have opens without clicks, your content isn't compelling enough to act on. If people are opening but not clicking, you need to fix your content, not your subject line. And last but not least, we want to track our cost per cover. This is the most important metric for measuring marketing efficiency. It tells you how much I'm spending to acquire each customer who walks through the door. There's also other metrics you could keep track of, like revenue per ad dollar. How much revenue am I making monthly based on how many dollars in marketing I'm spending? And you measure that over a few months or over a year and see where you find similarities or patterns. One golden nugget when it comes to tracking that you don't want to overlook, and that I should have mentioned earlier, is repeat customer rate. What percentage of your covers are returning guests? This tells you if your marketing is attracting new people or just recycling the same customers. High repeat rate is great for loyalty, but dangerous if it means you're not growing. There's a ton more metrics we could track when it comes to email marketing, text marketing, Google Business, website, everything that has to do with your restaurant marketing. We won't discuss here today, but if you would like me to do a deeper dive, drop a line in the comments or let me know on social media and I'll be happy to create an in-depth video for you just on those metrics. If everything I've discussed with you here today seems overwhelming, I totally get it. That's why restaurant marketers like me exist. We help you bring everything together and make sure that it works. If you have any specific questions that you would like for me to answer, I encourage you to reach out on my social media, Alex Quin, on our website, uadv.net, or on our social medias at UADV. You can also drop a line here in the comments and I'll be happy to answer. I'd greatly appreciate it if you could also share the video. If you found value in it, subscribe to the bell icon, and share it with a friend. If you feel like you need more hands-on help, we could talk about my consulting packages, my restaurant marketing course, or my hands-on month-to-month services. If you have more questions regarding that, hit the link below or reach out on social medias and I'll be happy to chat. Until then, see you in the next video.